We are told that the thrust of the president's direction was to significantly ramp up the campaign's efforts to highlight the crazy shit that Trump says in public.
They said he didn't know Pelosi from Nikki, from Tricky Nikki. I play golf. I play very nice. Did you see the picture of me, the horrible picture with the stomach out to here?
Crazy shit that Trump says.
We have to win in November, or we're not going to have Pennsylvania. They'll change the name. They're going to change the name of Pennsylvania. But the ball does go far. We are a nation that is no longer admired, respected, or listened to on the world stage.
Crazy shit that Trump says.
Sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want.
So you heard it right there. CNN's plan, or CNN reports that Biden's campaign plan is to ramp up attacks against the crazy shit that Donald Trump says. CNN said it right there. I love it.
Yeah, I love how they let that fly.
I know. I had to watch it a couple times. I mean, no, she did.
They were like,
she did.
It's accurate. It's the most accurate word.
For some reason, like I just had to laugh at that one. So, yeah, this whole episode is basically because the GOP. I guess we have another government funding deadline coming March 1st. And then shortly after that, apparently they plan on taking their next vacation, their next 2 weeks off.
Well, it's good to know these next 2 weeks they're working hard to get towards the deadline, right? They're working hard right now.
Yeah, they're working hard at trying to impeach somebody, anybody. They were so happy. They were fist bumping each other when they impeached Alejandro Mayorkas.
Oddly enough,
it's quite literally the only accomplishment they have for their entire year and a half. Almost.
They impeached him.
Or year.
And then, like the next day, it was announced that the Department of Justice arrested the informant that the entire Biden impeachment situation was based on, and admitted that it was all a lie. And then what happened? What happened there? Speaker MAGA Mike sent Congress home for 2 weeks. So that when they come back, they have 3 days to work on a deal to keep the government from shutting down before they go on their next vacation.
Unbelievable. So before we get into all that, first we do have to just take a moment to, I don't know, celebrate the new rankings of presidents. Donald Trump is the worst president in United States history by a large margin. I like to point out that Obama is 7th, Clinton, actually, which I'm not really a fan of, 12th, and then Biden, who hasn't even finished his first full term, is already at 14th.
Well, if you actually look at the facts and you see what he did, but hey, whatever.
I know, exactly. If he were to do 2 full terms, I think that he would. I think he would definitely be. He might be in the top
10, easy.
But I like to point out that the last 3 Democratic presidents are on the top, and then the last 3 Republican presidents are way down. Well, I mean, H.W. Bush, George Sr., was what, 19th?
Yeah, wow.
All the way down at 32nd, and then we have Trump in the last place. Loving that.
What I love is I am a big
Fox News is freaking out.
I am a big opponent of polls in the sense that most polls are pointed, targeted. They go for a specific pool of people to get answers from. And to be fair, they're just based off the average person's understanding of anything. What is interesting about this poll, not that I'm saying it means anything, but what's interesting about this poll is it wasn't just done in a mall somewhere. It was actually by presidential scholars and historians ranking actual information, not just, what's on Twitter or Truth Social, actual facts. And this is what they came up with. That's it. Now, could we say that maybe they had a bias? Sure, which is why I still don't put much. It means nothing. Okay, there's a ranking, but I'll tell you what, though, it has triggered MAGA like almost nothing else I've ever seen. It's almost as if Donald Trump was impeached in 2017, 18, and Hillary Clinton was put in his place. That would be the only thing that triggered them more than Donald Trump coming in the poll in a poll that he's last, because they can't understand why he isn't the best. He's the best.
But that's the thing, though. Like, you see how good Biden is doing, and you see obviously that Trump is a disaster. And he still has so much support. He still has. We'll pull up the GoFundMe now. The GoFundMe thing. He lost, and now he's raising money through GoFundMe to try and raise money to pay off the $355 million. Now, we've been keeping track of it.
So
now the previous one was.
This was Sunday. We looked at this. This was basically, it was, I think, the same day or the next day after it started. And this was all basically within 24 hours. Mm-hmm. So the last we checked in on Sunday was 272,600 donations. Where are we as of 7 p.m. today?
Oh my God, this makes me sick.
Almost $745,000. Almost.
You know who Elena Cardone is? I believe she's the wife of she's the wife of Grant Cardone, who's made most of his money by teaching people how to rip other people off. Yep. Well, I mean, he taught sales techniques, which is basically the same thing. It's the same freaking thing. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you there, but let me pull this back up. Like, anonymous donation, $10,000. Anonymous donation, $5,000. And then the names, Ronnie Jackson. I wonder if it's Dr. Ronnie Jackson who gave him his.
It might be.
Say Ronnie Jackson that gave him his cognitive exam.
Well, you know what I want to know? How much of this is money laundering? Who's giving $5,000 to pay Donald Trump's, not just legal, these aren't legal bills. This is the judgment against him.
Right.
They are paying for his crime. They are paying for his fraud willingly and happily. And I just took the top of the highest donations. There were dozens that are over the thousands. To be in the top donations, you have to donate at least $1,000. That tells you how much money is going on there. I was scrolling through it for funsies, lots of hundreds, some 50s, some 25s. Yeah, people are donating $5. $5. Why are you giving that money?
That's crazy. Stop donating to him. He's supposed to be a billionaire. Let him pay his money. He brags that he has all the kinds of cash.
He's going to make all the money from selling his shoes.
Oh God, what a disaster that is.
Well, you saw the fine print on that, right? There is no shipment fee.
I know. Yeah, good luck getting your shoes that you just paid $500 for. But what blows me away about it, at first we thought, I think we first reported that GoFundMe was saying you can't get this money because of what it's set up for. But apparently now GoFundMe has come out and made an official statement saying, because I guess that was a social media trending rumor. So the fact was GoFundMe came out and said, yeah, they can have the money. I'm like,
I wouldn't be surprised if the court sees that money.
Yeah.
How great would that be? Let's say he did raise 300 whatever million, and they just were like, thank you, and gave it right to her.
Yeah, I mean, Alina Habba is saying that Trump, she's bragging, oh yeah, Trump has the money to pay for an appeal. Okay. We'll see.
Okay.
I believe it when I see it. I believe when I see it.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, we are here to talk about how absolutely useless the GOP is. So we have some clips of some senators and some Congress
mentally
people.
Deficient they are.
Yes, and these people are in the highest elected offices in the nation.
I
watched it blows me away.
I watched something from Farron Cousins today. He was doing a ton of topics because he was away on vacation, so he was just covering a whole bunch of crap from the last couple of days, week, whatever. And one of the things he was talking about was very similar to kind of what we're talking about today. I didn't even make that connection till now. And he was like, we're supposed to be looking objectively at the people we elect to represent us. Right. They shouldn't be like us. They shouldn't be the people you want to go get drunk with. They should be the people that are better than us. They should be the people that are more educated, that have more understanding, experienced, higher standards. Class, which we'll get into in a couple of videos, how some of these classless Republicans are wandering around. But his point was that we should be striving to put the best of us in seats to represent us.
Right.
And I'm not saying the Democrats are always putting their best and brightest, but they, as a group,
they're doing a hell of a lot better job.
The astounding morons like we will see in these clips.
Yeah, and they've been holding here. They've held no hearings on gun violence whatsoever. They have held hearings on
UFOs,
conspiracies that they've made up, like gas stove bans. They're like, oh my God, They held multiple hearings on freaking appliance bans. Jesus Christ, that was really what they were focused on. Like the first part of their
look. I love gas stoves,
ridiculous.
but like if we find out that gas stoves are poisoning us, like cigarettes used to be when no one knew about that, then yes, let's ban gas stoves. But no one's coming into your house and taking your stove.
Right? They're making it sound like the government's going to come into your house, like they have this gas stove militia. It's going to go from city to city and take your appliances out of your house. Like you can't have this anymore.
There is no one more afraid of the boogeyman than Republicans. They are just everything to them. A shadow is going to get them. Ugh.
This first clip is Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. Again, Arkansas. So I like to point out first, though, Arkansas is ranked 43rd in the nation for education. Before I play this video, because I'm pretty sure Tom Cotton thinks that Singapore is in China.
He thinks it's a state.
Let's take a look. He does. I swear to God, watch.
You said today, as you often say, that you live in Singapore. Of what nation are you a citizen?
As you often say, because he's Singaporean.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I served my nation in Singapore. No, I did not.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Republicans?
Yes, and I served my military for two and a half years in Singapore.
Do you have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
Your wife is an American citizen. Your children are American citizens.
That's correct.
Have you ever applied for American citizenship?
No, not yet.
So now he's suspicious of American citizens?
He just keeps
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated
He laughs at him like,
Communist Party?
No.
No, Senator. Again, I'm Singaporean.
Let me ask you some hopefully simple
Look at, are you Chinese? Are you Chinese? No. Are you sure?
Are you sure you're Chinese?
Yeah, yes. Are you sure? Have you ever eaten Chinese food? Yes.
Yep.
Communist.
No, he's like, I'm from Singapore. Have you ever applied to be in the Communist Party? I'm like, what
are you even
How do you
saying?
make that leap? And they're so trying to make TikTok out to be this big villainous organization. It's so funny though. This is a senator, man.
When you look on Cotton's face, what I've always been fascinated with is like a little thing in my own mind. Are racists, do they know that what they're saying, I'm not saying that they think it's wrong, but do they know it's racist, or are they just that stupid? And like, he clearly doesn't know where Singapore is or what Singapore is. He just goes, I mean, I look at you, I look at the guy who delivers my Chinese food.
Man. Right. That clip is, I'm glad the guy's kind of laughing at him because it's so stupid. He just keeps asking the same question in a different way. It's so funny.
You know what? You could pick.
It's like he's going to trip him up. Like his final question.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Final question. Like he was going to say yes. Oh, damn it. You got me.
Well, you could pick and
I
place.
remember the Chinese Communist Party. Yes. Oh, damn it.
You could put any Republican in that seat, and they would ask the same questions with the same straight, dumb face. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It's so funny.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who we have video of, who may even say dumber things than Tom Cotton. I mean, we know she said even more racist and bigoted things, but like you could just pick and place any modern Republican, and they're all just as stupid. And I don't think they have the slightest clue how dumb they are.
No, listen. Now, next video I'm going to show. I'll play this one next. We've played this one before. This is Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Or I'm sorry, Mike Johnson. Donald Trump's apparently the Speaker of the House. Wait. Do we have that one? Oh, we don't have that one.
Oh, no.
No worries. But the next video is Mike Johnson talking to a doctor who went to medical school about abortions happening at the moment of birth or shortly thereafter.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine going to medical school and all the training you've had to go through to be a doctor and be a specialist or something like that, and then have to sit here and get questions from some idiot Christian nationalist? Just all right. Let me play the video before I start talking.
In our nation's birth certificate, we boldly declare that it is a self-evident truth that human beings are made by their Creator and they are endowed by Him with certain inalienable rights.
It does not say that.
First listed is the right to life for obvious reasons. All three of the Democrat witnesses here today support and advocate for what they say is unrestricted abortion on demand. Let me ask Dr. Robinson. I could go to any of them, but you're the medical doctor. Based on your website and your testimony today, you clearly support the right to abort a 20-week-old unborn child. So I would love for you to explain to us, in your medical opinion, at what point in pregnancy should having an abortion no longer be an option?
Here we go.
Thank you for the question. As a medical doctor, I understand that every pregnancy is unique and different. I also understand that patients need to have access to care, pregnant people, as the pregnancy progresses, and that may be for various reasons.
Okay, let me ask you.
So
Let me ask you, do you support the right of a woman?
Hold on, I don't
who's
like
just
that you're
seconds
not
away from
answering it the
birthing a
way I
healthy
want you
child
to. Let
have
me
an
interrupt
abortion?
you.
I think that the question that you're asking does not realistically reflect abortion care.
In that
the
scenario,
United States.
would you support her right to abort that child?
I won't entertain theoreticals.
It's not a
That's not
theoretical, ma'am. You're a
reality.
medical doctor.
I am a medical doctor, and
It-
that has
it doesn't
never
happen.
happened.
Right, exactly. I'm a medical doctor. You're an idiot.
just
You're asking me about things that don't happen, like abortions don't happen, like the baby's head is about to hit.
Like they think that.
Hold on.
They
Time
actually
out.
believe it.
He
So-
literally says that at the moment of birth.
Yeah,
And then Donald Trump's running around the country going, yeah, they're having abortions even after birth. Like they're looking at the baby, gonna kill it.
Nah, that kid's ugly.
Like, that does not happen, people. Don't be
That kid's
so
butt ugly. Let's just throw him out.
stupid, right? Like,
But I gotta say though, it's funny how the Republican Party has a blanket, almost party platform disrespect for medical science. They think
they really
partial
do.
birth abortions are happening. They think COVID was a hoax. They take
Mhm.
sheep dewormer. They don't even understand how cancer works. Like they are basically so anti-science, you might as well take a slug and put them in office. That's what
That
it
actually
is.
is a perfect segue into our next slide. This is why, and I'm glad it's finally starting to be recognized, because we've been talking about it on the show since we started the show. It wasn't that long ago, but we've been saying it before, even before that, we've been saying it. Politico reports Trump allies prepare to infuse Christian nationalism in second administration. America should be recognized as a Christian nation where our rights and duties are understood to come from God. So they want their freedom and everything to be defined by the Bible.
Their religion.
This Vaught character wrote a couple years ago in Newsweek. He's spearheading the effort. Is Russell Vaught, who served as Trump's director of the Office of Management and Budget during his first term, has remained close to him. Vaught, who is frequently cited as a potential chief of staff in the second Trump White House, is president of the Center for Renewing America think tank. We've talked about them before too. A leading group of conservative I can't say it. I can't say it. Oh my God! Preparing for a second Trump term, but this is on 2025 and the Heritage Foundation. Sorry,
yeah, but again, we're not. This is not just like ringing the bell for no reason. This is their plan. And when you start to see how the pieces are all put in place, Mike Johnson has worked for organizations that are trying to enact Project 2025. Okay. And when you look at who is making decisions in our Congress and who Mike Johnson may or may not be reporting to, taking orders to, it's clear to see that this is actually what's really going on here.
Right.
That
Speaker
on
of the House
President's
and
Day,
Mike
Johnson went to go to Mar-a-Lago to hang out with the real Speaker of the House, because Mike Johnson is not the Speaker of the House. Donald Trump is via Vladimir Putin, by the way.
Yeah, this is Donald Trump's GOP, the government of Putin. Okay, the GOP stands for government of Putin. From now on, is what we're calling it. And they continue to do everything they possibly can to block aid to our allies. Getting into our next person, Marjorie Taylor Greene was recently asked, I guess the former Prime Minister of the UK, that David Cameron, said we should fund Ukraine. Obviously, it's a no-brainer. This is her response.
Since it's in our treaty.
Yeah, this woman has no class at all. Just listen to what she says. It's a simple question, and she could have gave a simple answer, but no, she goes off on this tangent. Listen to this.
She basically
David
shits on them.
Says that you should vote through funding for Ukraine. What do you say to that?
I think he tried to compare us to Hitler also. And if that's the kind of language he wants to use, I really have nothing to say to him.
Well, he likened you to an appeaser to Hitler in not voting through funding for Ukraine. Are you an appeaser for Putin?
I think that I really don't care what David Cameron
She has
has
no
to
idea
say.
how to answer that
I think
question.
that's
She doesn't
rude
even
name
understand
calling,
anything.
Listen.
and I don't appreciate that type
Rude
of
name
language.
calling.
And David Cameron needs to worry about his own country, and frankly, he can kiss my ass.
But do you think Putin's the good guy in all this?
That is.
She is classless. She is unintelligent.
It was
She
a
is
simple
boorish.
question.
She is
It was a
ignorant.
simple question. She could have said, "This is why we're holding out on funding for Ukraine." No. Instead, she goes, "David Cameron said we were Nazis or Hitler."
This is a woman
Like,
who.
what does it have to do with what the subject matter is? We're talking about funding for Ukraine.
This is a woman
I don't
who
appreciate
chased-
name calling, and that's just mean. He's a meanie person. I don't like
She's
him.
literally the queen of the name callers. This is a woman who chased down survivors of school shootings.
I know.
To
She could be
mock
one of
them
the
and
most
call them
horrible person.
liars and crisis actors.
Oh my god, I forgot I even had this. Okay, so I like to pull up people's Wikipedia profiles,
Oh,
and some are good, some are really slim. Like I saw about Laura Trump's is really
oh
thin.
yeah.
Holy
Shitty
shit!
singer.
Marjorie
married to the
Taylor
dumb one.
Greene's is like the resume of somebody that needs to be locked up in an insane asylum. So I'm gonna pull this up and try to read some of this without giggling too much. Whew, here we go. Wikipedia, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Greene has promoted anti-Semitic, white supremacist, far-right conspiracy theories, including white genocide conspiracy theory, QAnon, and Pizzagate. Other extremist conspiracy theories she has promoted include government involvement in mass shootings in the United States, baseless allegations of murder against the Clinton family, and 9/11 conspiracy theories. Before running for Congress, she supported calls to execute prominent Democratic Party politicians, including Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. As Congresswoman, she equated the Democratic Party to Nazis and compared COVID-19 safety measures to the persecution of Jews in the Holocaust, later apologizing for the comparison. Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah,
she
okay.
meant that.
She was afraid
During
of
the
the space.
2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, Greene promoted Russian propaganda and praised Vladimir Putin. And Greene has identified as a Christian nationalist.
She is, without any exaggeration or hyperbole, the exact creature the founders were like, don't let that ever have any
That's
power.
how you're going to be remembered in history, as an absolute fucking insane person.
She is
Everything
a ball
on
of
there is
tinfoil.
batshit crazy. She believes everything somebody tells her. They're like, "Oh, Margie, we got this
Yeah,
new one.
yeah.
This
There's
out.
someone out
Check
back
this
selling.
out."
There's someone out back selling babies to Democrats. Oh,
I know. Oh, okay. Oh, let me tweet about that.
oh, she's the ultimate Facebook person. She's a Facebook boomer, and I'm sorry. I often dump on boomers, and I know not all boomers are that bad, but if she sees it on Facebook, she's sending it to someone else, like immediately, no questions asked.
Yeah, seriously, she does not fact check a damn thing, and she holds hearings on this shit. The newest
She
one,
has been given the gavel.
The newest one.
She's been in charge of Congress.
I know. This drives me crazy. The newest one, go ahead and bring up the slide, is turbo cancer. I can't even say it.
All right, look. So the
possibly
video,
the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. This is
the video
worse
that
than
we're
the flat
gonna
Earth theory.
The video that we're gonna watch is a way better representation of this, but I just want to reiterate that there is no such thing as turbo cancer. And turbo cancer is an anti-vaccination myth centered on the idea that people vaccinated against COVID-19, especially with mRNA vaccines, are suffering from a high incidence of fast-developing cancers. The myth, spread by a number of vaccine opponents and related influencers, including doctors and Marjorie Taylor Greene, has no factual basis. Science says, sit down, shut up, and know your role, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Right. It doesn't even say there's some truth to it. It literally says there's absolutely no truth to it. And this crazy person that has the nerve to try and bring this up in public hearings in front of doctors who are specialists at this kind of thing. This is fantastic. Here we go. She gets humiliated here.
I want to read you this quote, and it's again in the public record at a hearing. Have the COVID vaccines resulted in an increase in cancers, and are turbo cancers real? Now, Mr. Chairman, this is, in my opinion, just insanity. We know that's not the case. Dr. Marks, can you clarify once again for the American people, do the COVID vaccines cause turbo cancers?
I'm a hematologist oncologist that's board certified. I don't know what a turbo cancer is. It was a term that was used first in a paper in mouse experiments describing an inflammatory response. We have not detected any increase in cancers with the COVID-19 vaccines.
Thank you. And I thank you for correcting the record.
May I just add something here? I do need to apologize to the 1,000 or so parents of children who are under 4 years of age who have died of COVID-19 who were unvaccinated because there were deaths and are continuing to be deaths in children, and that is the reason why they need to get vaccinated. Thank you.
There you go.
All Donald Trump had to do, all he had to do, whether he believed it or not, is say, mask up, get the vaccine, and none of this would have happened. There's always going to be anti-vaxxers. California is full of them. My point is that you can keep the extremists aside, but there's a reason measles are showing up more and other horrible, ridiculous things are showing up because the anti-vax movement went from a fringe thing to like a reasonable conjecture to have. I don't know. I don't think it's reasonable.
Right, but
do
it's
your
not
own
based in
research.
reality is the problem. They don't even look at the science says.
Dr. Fauci literally helped find ways to cure AIDS, and an entire group of assholes vilified him to give him nothing but constant death threats because he was like, guys, get vaccinated and wear a mask.
I feel like our society's in like a I don't know how you call it, but like we have the pre-science, the completely religious phase of humanity.
You know what we're in?
And there's
We're
post-science, which sciences start, there's things, obviously science is debunked.
Yeah, fine.
A lot of stuff, you know what I mean? Pretty much everything. And they're upset about it. And they're wondering why people don't believe in the Bible anymore. It's because it's ridiculous.
If anyone doesn't know, it's not called the Dark Ages because there were no lights on at night. It's called the Dark Ages because the church burned all of our knowledge in any of the lands that it controlled, and everyone got freaking stupid. Okay, Rome had aqueducts, and they had water. They had water and running toilets on the second floors of their homes in Rome. And since England was like, not England, the church was like, that's evil, that's blasphemous. Europe had to like live with throwing shit out of their castles onto the ground.
I'm glad we've evolved. Well, some of us have evolved, but these people are in Congress. They're in the Senate.
Like germ theory is real, okay? People used to walk around with the plague doctor masks filled with flowers because they thought the smell was what was bad. We learn things and we understand them. Science is a method, not a religion. Okay, religion
if
flies
they don't want to get
people into
vaccinated
buildings.
at this point, the hell with them. I don't care. Don't get vaccinated. Just stop talking about it. We don't give a shit. That's the problem. Don't get vaccinated. We don't care. We'll get vaccinated. Leave us alone.
Gross kids could just rot. I don't care anymore.
Right. If parents want to get their kids vaccinated, but stop putting out. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, let me point out, was banned from Twitter for posting misinformation about COVID and vaccines.
There is no doubt
why she was banned from Twitter.
There is no doubt that the hundreds of thousands of Americans that died under Donald Trump's watch because he was too embarrassed and racist to use the black man's playbook that was left by him on how to deal with pandemics. Okay. Not only is Donald Trump responsible, Marjorie Taylor Greene is responsible for those deaths. Lauren Boebert is responsible. Every single Republican that did not come out against Donald Trump and all the misinformation and say, go get your kids and yourself vaccinated. Every one of those people is responsible for every one of those people who died. Every one of them.
Right. And Donald Trump saying, don't wear a mask. It's stupid to wear a mask. But he didn't want to wear a mask, obviously.
He was barely breathing and he stands on top of the White House and rips it off triumphantly, heaving like he can't even breathe.
He can barely breathe. He's gasping for air, rips his mask off like he's Superman. Like
drink bleach
died from COVID.
Drink bleach and shove a light up your ass and you'll be fine.
He almost died from COVID. You know what I mean? This dude, and he just don't wear a mask. But this is millions of people follow everything these people say. So
and they vote.
All right. So in the first video at the beginning of the show, you saw the I cut that part out. So Donald Trump's going around the country talking about we shouldn't give money to Ukraine. We should loan it to them. That's stupid. Loan them the money.
It's extorting them.
Right, exactly. And he says if they can't pay it back, whatever. But you know what he's saying?
Literally protection.
They can't pay it back. Oh, Russia, go ahead. Okay, that's
protection money. It's the mom.
Right. That's not how this shit works, man. And like I watched a report earlier today in Ukraine. They're literally running out of ammunition. They're running out of bullets. They're running out of artillery shells. The only thing they have plenty of is drones. But they also have nuclear plants. They have to keep power running. That could be a catastrophic thing if one of the nuclear plants were to fail. Yeah. That could be a worldwide. That could be a massive problem. But the Republicans don't care.
They don't.
But ever since Donald Trump, I caught him saying it in a couple speeches about we should loan him money instead of giving it. Now, Comer Pyle, Representative James Comer, he is now saying the same things. And then I'm so tired of them talking about the border. This is what we should do on the border. You had a deal. Stop talking about it. You have no more defense. You want the border open. You guys
also. I love how there's
solve anything. You and your little butt buddy. Who was Tim Scott?
They suddenly don't like riders on bills.
And their little safari outfits. their little magic. I wish we had the picture of the other little match. Somebody drew a heart around it. I was dying. The little magic safari outfits and their combat boots, like they're on like they're a press on a war zone or something. Like, stop it, you guys are idiots. But yeah, so there's supposedly an invasion happening. So they say it's a crisis. It's the worst crisis America's ever faced. But you know what? Come in the beginning of March, we're going to go on 2-week vacation.
Well, let's look at the words.
I'm like, what?
Let's look at the language, right? So Speaker Johnson says, Speaker really is Trump, but for sake of argument, Speaker Johnson says the House will do everything in its power to back Texas over border feud. Okay, so what's that about? Well, Mike Johnson's words a few weeks ago. I stand with Governor Abbott. The House will do everything in its power to back him up, he said on Twitter. I refuse to call it that stupid name. The next step, holding Department of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas accountable, which they did and then ran away when everything went to shit. But Abbott on Tuesday declared that the state has a right to self-defense from a migrant invasion. Okay, so Mike Johnson is agreeing that there is an invasion so great that Texas is now considering putting military bases on the border. Okay. and yet we're going to go take a 2-week vacation and then come back in time to maybe stop the government from shutting down. So
you would
think this is the highest priority.
Doesn't the government shutdown happen before they go on vacation now?
Which vacation?
I think their next 2-week break is after the government shutdown deadline, which is March 1st. I believe. It's already the 20th.
All I know is that there is no, you have to hide, you have to look, you have to lift the corner to see what they're trying to say. They're telling you right now, they don't care. Not only do they not care about this country, but everything they tell you to be afraid of, they're not even pretending anymore that it's real, because they know that the only people left to vote for Donald Trump are the lunatics that don't care about reality anyway. So when Mike Johnson says there's an invasion at the border, it's so great that we need a bill to stop this invasion, but we're not going to vote on the one that we all worked on. And we're not going to vote the one on that my own party brought to you. And we're not going to do anything except go on vacation. Maybe there's no invasion. Maybe there's no invasion. Did you think about that?
People believe it, though. They shovel them this shit and then they ask for more. But here's James Comer.
Yeah, they've got a pretty creative idea. Here's what they're saying. Let's go back to remain in Mexico as a border security policy. And that was the #1 request of the Border Patrol on our visit to Texas. Senator Scott, go back to remain in Mexico. You have to wait in Mexico for your asylum claim. You're not released in the United States. And secondly, to reinstitute Title 42. Those two things on the border, I think, are simple, will work. And they want to slim down the aid package to $60 billion, all lethal aid. And here's what I told them. I think that's a winning combination. I suggested making the lethal aid a loan, like President Trump has suggested. The Europeans gave Ukraine $50 billion. 33 of it was a loan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
yeah.
I think if you
lethal
aid into a loan, do remain in Mexico, Title 42, that combination not only gets through the House, it picks up votes in the Senate. It would be welcome relief to the Ukraine. It'd be a blow to Putin. It will also help Israel and Taiwan.
I apologize. I said James Comer. That's Lindsey Graham. You're right. My bad.
They all look the same.
Totally messed that up. It's so hard to keep track of all of them, man.
Those rich old white guys all look the same.
I'm serious. It's so hard, and it's all the same talking points. But now, their solution is to
they're still ignoring reality. The reality is we have a treaty that says we help them. Okay. The implication is we need to defend. It's not even the implication. It literally says that one member nation will defend any other member nation as if it is their own, because the understanding founding principle is that we need to stick together to stop the dictators. Okay.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin is a dictator. You can call yourself president, but if your people have no choice on who to vote for, you're a dictator. Okay. It's very simple. The Republicans, maybe they're not directly on Putin's payroll, but they are agents of chaos because they are selfish nihilists. They only want their own security, their own power, their own wealth, their own comfort. Screw everyone else on the planet. If you're not rich and you can't pay to get in the club, you could burn with the rest of them. And that's what they're doing. They don't care if Ukraine gets destroyed. They don't care if Ukraine gets destroyed and then suddenly Vladimir Putin's like, I mean, Poland, some of Poland may have been ours at one point. Let's go after them now because at some point it was ours. And then what? Poland isn't paying the extortion racket that Donald Trump thinks is legal and no one's going to stop him? No, they don't care. They don't care.
It's ridiculous. They're putting everybody in danger. I mean, they're putting millions of lives, an entire continent in danger.
For what?
It's ridiculous. I mean, they're doing. It feels like they're just doing everything to benefit Russia.
The only thing I could think of is that Vladimir Putin has a P tape of every single Republican.
He's got something. Tucker Carlson. That's funny.
Oh, wow.
All right. Anyway, Biden's put out actually a new ad about this whole talk regarding, Trump wanting to get away from NATO and, if they don't pay up, basically an extortion program. If you don't pay up, then we encourage Russia to go ahead and attack you. Here we go. This is a great ad, but like I said at the beginning of the show, they're going to start coming at Trump really, really hard about what he's been saying in public.
For 75 years, NATO has been the most important military alliance in the world. It's been the cornerstone of America's security. It's how we won the Cold War and defeated the Soviet Union. And the only time NATO has invoked the sacred commitment of Article 5 was to stand with America after 9/11. Every president since Truman has been a rock-solid supporter of NATO, except for Donald Trump. Trump wants to walk away from NATO. He's even given Putin and Russia the green light to attack America's allies.
I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want.
No president has ever said anything like it. It's shameful. It's weak. It's dangerous. It's un-American. Joe Biden understands the commitment we have made to NATO is good for America and the world, and he will honor it. Because that's what a strong American president does.
I mean, it's pretty obvious to me. You know what I mean? I'm glad Biden is speaking out against this, and I hope they do go really hard to paint when it comes to attacking the stuff that he says in public. Because he says the stuff he says in public is absolutely batshit insane. A lot of it's just gibberish, but a lot of this is like the Project 2025. He's got a lot of really just awful people behind him, awful groups like the Heritage Foundation.
Willing, by the way, to bring about the end of the world because they think that would be a good thing, but that's another show.
Right. They're openly saying they want to make this a Christian nationalist nation or a Christian nation. That is no room for. I can't even imagine.
Look,
that's horrifying. It's horrifying.
The only time that Article 5 was invoked in the history of NATO, okay,
exactly,
is on 9/11 when we needed help, and the member nations went, yes, clearly, because that's what we're here for.
Right.
The reason the world laughs at us, the reason the world is afraid of this coming election is because there is a man in Donald Trump who respects no treaty, has no honor. He says, not only in public, but in court, that he had no responsibility to uphold the Constitution. He is trying to find a legal way out of his oath to protect the Constitution. He is telling you that he will not honor a commitment that has kept security, relative peace, because we do not live in a perfect world, relative peace and security after the Cold War, in which literally any minute the world could have ended because of shitty men with big, giant nuclear weapons. Okay? Donald Trump is not just a threat to America. He is an actual threat to the planet. The reason the world laughs at us is because there's a lot of people that legitimately think he's a god.
Think about what the GOP has done so far since they've been in office. They've barely passed 30 bills. They
have done nothing.
They held the entire economy hostage. Oh, now I remember why I was thinking James Comer. I had a video on him too. I decided to cut it out at the last minute. Man, see, like I said, it's hard to keep all these assholes, keep track of all these assholes.
How many assholes we got on this show?
How many assholes we got on this show? Hey, I'm surrounded by assholes. But now, they've held the government hostage. How many times now? It's the third time around? Fourth time around? I can't even count.
Every day they're holding the government hostage.
Right now, but now they have to vote again on funding the government. It's like, Jesus Christ, can we just get to the next term and get these guys out of here?
But that's all they do is they either vote on a new leader or they vote to keep funding the government.
Right, or they try and impeach somebody.
Do something. Oh, wait, but Lauren Boebert introduced a bill. Lauren Boebert did introduce a bill to take gray wolves off the endangered species list.
She did. Wow.
Okay.
And we're pretty sure it's the only reason to do that is if you want to hunt them. There's no other reason why you would want to take them off the list. It's completely stupid. But these are the people that are in some of the highest positions of government. They get paid taxpayer money. They get government medical insurance. They get vehicles, perks like you would not believe. Donations,
free healthcare for life,
and apparently, allegedly, some tips on the stock market as well. Allegedly, I have to say that again. But some of these people should not be worth millions of dollars. I'm sorry, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's no reason these people should be worth millions of dollars in that short period of time when they weren't worth millions of dollars before.
It wasn't because of Marge's book.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't because of book sales. So we can cross that one off the list. But anyway, that's pretty much all we have for the show tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Sorry about me getting mixed up there for a little bit. It happens.
There's no difference between them. Honestly, we should just start calling them different names.
Trump has gone down as the worst president in United States history. I'm going to say the 118th Congress is going to go down as the worst Congress in United States history.
Absolutely.
Easily. And this is
Supreme Court.
This is Trump's Congress. So blame Trump when they get ranked the worst Congress in United States history.
This is the worst Supreme Court we've ever had. And that's
every Gasto hearing they have, every hearing where they interrogate specialists and doctors. That's taxpayer funds.
Are you Chinese? Have you ever been Chinese? Have you changed your gender to not Chinese? Because they don't understand any of this.
Right. Do you identify as Chinese?
Yes, you identify as Chinese.
What the hell? Oh my God. But this is what we're dealing with. But until we vote these people out, this is going to continue to happen and get worse. This will get worse. Please, I pray to God.
Trump isn't the end of this.
I'm not religious, but I do believe in God, and I pray to God that Trump does not win. Because
look, Trump is not the end of this. Because if we stop him and he's gone and whatever, the court system takes care of his ass, we still have a bunch of shitty, traitorous morons in Congress and the Senate. So
we do, but
we lost Roe, and we still have asshole governors that are starting to really actually chase women out of their states. So we have a lot of work to do.
Did you read what I think Biden posted? I can't remember if Biden posted it. I swear if he said if you vote, if it was Democratic Congress, Democratic Senate, him in the White House, he would reestablish Roe.
Or could just codify.
I thought I read that. I'll have to look again. I thought
if we have all three branches, honestly, I'm going to say this. I'm going to take a stand right now.
We could get so much done.
If the Democrats achieve all three branches in this election, and they do not pass an amendment to make abortion a human right, then I will be riding them as hard as I have ever ridden Trump. If they do not protect all LGBTQ life, if they do not make it right with indigenous peoples and black people and whatever group of people this country is shat on for centuries, if they don't do something to protect people that have been backing their ass for a long time, then the Democrats are going to be in more trouble they've ever been. Because if they have power and they can control it and they don't fix these problems, then
they have to. I think on a national level, they've got to denounce on all branches of government, denounce white supremacy and Christian nationalism. They have to. They tried to denounce it once before, but no Republicans will sign it.
Gee,
it wasn't like a national thing, but it was one of the committees or one of the hearings they were having. I can't remember. It was way back.
I do remember that. I don't remember the specifics.
Yeah, they wanted to drop this letter saying we're going to denounce white supremacy in America, and no Republican was signing it. That's what we're dealing with.
That was like Alito in his recent ruling he put out, where he said he doesn't like the trend in. He's afraid that people who express their religious beliefs might be considered bigots. Then don't be a bigot. Don't be
I know
a bigot.
that religion and bigotry is, nothing to do with one another. You could be religious and not be a complete racist asshole all the time.
And you can be an atheist. It's possible,
right?
But religion, as it stands in this country, is trying to be bigotry.
Right, there's people in between like me. I'm a deist. I believe in God, but I think religion is nonsense. You know what I mean? There are other ways to think. You don't have to think just one way. It's amazing what happens when you do that. You actually.
How will I identify if I don't belong with the sheep? How do I think?
I know.
What do I
need
do?
a book. I need a book. That was written a really long time ago to tell me exactly how to live in the modern era of technology, science, mathematics.
These months are going to go quick. These months are going to go quick.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all we have for the show tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. And we're going to take Saturday off this week. So we'll be back on Sunday. Oh shit. We got Tennessee Brando on the show next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
So next Tuesday, 8 p.m., we're going to have Tennessee Brando on the show, tearing up Trump and all the stuff that's going on in the political
I want to ask him a very important question. As a country musician, how he feels about Beyonce having the audacity coming from Texas to write a country.
I'm sure he'll tell you. Plus, he's from Tennessee, obviously. They just had Nazis marching in Tennessee. We're
going to have a good conversation with him.
Yeah, so next week's going to be a great show. So set your reminders for that. Same time next week, 8 p.m. Eastern
We'll put out
time.
a bunch of ads.
Of course. Don't forget to like and follow. Yeah, obviously. Don't forget to follow us on social media. I think I have our Instagram and Twitter in the comments. So check us out on there. But yeah, until then, we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.
We're going to remember the young people, and we're going to remember SneakerCon.
Ooh, okay. Excuse me.
Thank you, President Trump. We got your back. The auto workers are going to support this guy like we did in 16, 20. We're going to do it again in 24.
So today we're here in a bipartisan fashion to show leadership in an effort to end the senseless.
Wow, a lot of emotion. There's a lot of emotion in this.
Have we found a way not to think, leader? Excuse me.
You know that. We're going to remember the young people.
I am willing to go to jail if that's what it takes for our country to win and become a democracy again.